Recorded Books and One Click Digital present The Viscount and the Witch by Michael J. Sullivan. Narrated by Tim Gerard Reynolds. With an introduction narrated by the author.
Hello, I'm Michael J. Sullivan. Welcome to The Viscount and the Witch. This is a short story that was originally released in late 2011 to fill a void when my self-published books were removed from the market to make way for the Orbit editions. If you've heard about Riyria and are wondering if these books might be for you, then this recording provides a sample so you can determine if my writing is to your tastes. I'll admit that I'm much better writing novels than short fiction, so I wrote this tale like the start of a longer work. Yes, it has a complete arc featuring the two main characters from the Riyria Revelations, but it doesn't assume any prior knowledge of my stories. I wanted it to be completely standalone so it could be enjoyed by anyone. As for setting, I chose a time period 11 years before the events of my debut novel, Theft of Swords, when Royce Melborn and Hadrian Blackwater were practically strangers. The two were unlikely associates in this tale. The cynical thief decides to teach his idealistic swordsman partner that no good deed goes unpunished. But who learns what remains to be seen. It's now been over 2 years since I wrote this short story, and a great deal has happened. The original series became much more popular than I ever would have dreamed possible, and readers demanded more stories with Royce and Hadrian. Since Riyria Revelations concludes with the end of an era, and I'm extremely pleased with how the events wrapped up, I decided to explore the other end of the spectrum, the origin story of Riyria, which brings me back to the Viscount and the Witch. I decided to turn this short into a full-length novel, and hence, The Rose and the Thorn was born. In fact, if you have read or listened to that book, there's no reason to continue with this short, as it's become chapter 2 of that story. But this story also became the seed for The Crown Tower, the first book in what would become the Riyria Chronicles. For as I neared completion of The Rose and the Thorn, I realized I'd made a big mistake. I hadn't gone back far enough. So I wrote the events that detail Royce and Hadrian's very first job together. If you like The Viscount and the Witch and would like to read more, I should tell you a bit about the reading order, as this can be a bit confusing. There are actually 2 series. The Riyria Revelations were written first and contain Theft of Swords, Rise of Empire, and Heir of Navron. The Riyria Chronicles are prequels, which were written after and contain The Crown Tower and The Rose and the Thorn. I designed the series so that they can be
Sample complete. Ready to continue?